I fantasize about her cuckolding me with a stronger and better man. Ask Reddit After Dark on Reddit Rundown. What's a fantasy you always think about but could never carry out? Impregnation fetish/fantasy. It's one of those things that make me come almost immediately when I'm by myself, but I've never tried it with someone else. My ex-partner was way too overeager whenever he or someone else mentioned kids or pregnancy, and I didn't want to mention the kink in case he started to blur the lines in his mind and think I wanted kids when I'm honestly not ready for them. In my head, a gangbang with 4 to 5 men I have selected sounds amazing. In reality, yeah. That would be a logistical and emotional nightmare. In my head, a gangbang with 4 to 5 men I have selected sounds amazing. In reality, yeah. That would be a logistical and emotional nightmare. 2 BBWs using me as a toy, one uses her naked body to trap me between the legs of another and make me eat her out. The thought of being confined, pussy in my face, thick thighs engulfing my head, the weight of 2 massive tits locking me in from above. Give me a minute, need to take care of something. But I'm in a committed marriage and I'm just tall enough to make that mostly impractical anyhow, so that we'll stay firmly in the realm of the spank bank. Medical fetish stuff. Also have a woman or two join me for an evening and spend it completely naked while I'm fully clothed. That would be the dinner/movie part only, of course. An MMF threesome. I'm a woman. I'd love to feel so uninhibited and just in the moment that I could take part in one, but I recognize that I have way too many self-esteem issues to ever feel comfortable enough to enjoy it. Mutual masturbation with a stranger or somewhat acquaintance. Not sure how you'd even go about bringing up the subject. So, I keep it in my fantasies. The stranger being female, that is. I've got a pretty big breeding fantasy, like being pinned down and bred. But I'm absolutely not looking for kids anytime soon, and I haven't found a birth control that works for me long term yet. I want to pay for an erotic massage. I love watching Nuru massage videos. But in my fantasy the girl is into it and a good time is had by all. I know the reality would be a lot more depressing and I don't want to contribute to the sex trafficking industry. But find me a girl who's not being trafficked and is just into it for the money and for the fun. I'm in. Being used by a group of women as a sex toy. Tied down to the flood and being fucked cowgirl for how long they want until they are satisfied, even if it takes hours and I come several times. Fucking my administrative assistant. I am happily married but I am very high libido and wife is very low libido. My admin ass is similar age but unhappily married and in sexless relationship. We sometimes send flirty texts and she has caught me ogling her. I can't endanger my marriage and hurt my daughters. I just will jack off thinking about her, or think of her when I actually get to fuck my wife. My ex was super into the Czech fantasy porn. We had a few MFF threesomes together which were great, but I really wanted to help her live her fantasy. The plan was rent a suite in a hotel, tie her up so she was accessible but comfortable, blindfolded, and just let X amount of people have her way with her. Our friend was even going to help fluff if we could wrangle the right guys. The only thing my ex asked me was to never reveal how many people actually showed up. Outside the major issues like STDs, we just were never able to find enough guys to make it work. Literally any time we posted for a M on Reddit, our inbox was blown up with tone-deaf dudes and dick pics. Everyone wanted a ton of pics, or wanted to know if they could fuck her solo first, etc, etc. It got exhausting trying to find 5+ respectable dudes to help her live out her fantasy, so we gave up. I later learned about my local swingers scene, and if this ever happened again would probably go that direction than Redditors. Getting caught shoplifting, then becoming a sex slave to the security guys so they wouldn't call the police. I told my husband my fantasy. He told me most store security looked like Paul Blart, mall cop. He ruined my fantasy. Wanna bang a cute femboy, and having threesome with a trans girl. Why this turns me on. I'm straight and my GF makes fun of me when I watch these types of porn. I've always wanted to try a MMF or FFM threesome. No one I've ever been with has been okay with this idea though, because they all wanted a serious relationship and thought that it might cause trust issues between us. That, or they were afraid of seeing another man's dick. I really like the idea of giving a nice deep throat job while being pounded to hell in my pussy or anus. I also have been liking the idea of sharing my husband with another girl lately, to maximize his pleasure, especially a double blowjob, but I'd be okay with her riding him while I kiss him, or her, too. He kinda liked the idea for about a week, but I couldn't find another single female who was interested, and then he changed his mind. I got a lot of offers from other couples to join them, but that's not what I was looking for, unfortunately. I'd be cool with swinging, or even just having sex with another couple doing the deed in the same room, or with a couple people watching, but nope. My husband is a very private person about our sometimes disturbingly vanilla sex life. I finally got him to loosen up and bite my nipple and gently slap my ass the other day though, progress. After 4 years together. Every time I see my sister-in-law, I think about how badly I want to fuck her. It's not that she is insanely hot or perfect figure like a supermodel or anything, but she is good looking and has a great ass. Something about her just looks like she would be an amazing fuck, and she kinda toys with me at times. I so badly wish I could run upstairs with her one day and just fuck her like crazy and then come back downstairs and join everyone, but I know I could never do that. I have a huge transformation fetish. Transforming my so into a latex sex doll, then her transforming me into a latex sissy maid. Fun times to be had by us both. The logistics of all this make it realistically highly unlikely. GF is ex-stripper. My fantasy/fetish is her being in the club and me being a client/random stranger and fucking her while/after she gives me a lap dance and while she is in her stripper outfit. That'll never happen though, she would never be a stripper again, haha. I love my wife, and I want to spend my life with her. But I'm pretty much sure that I will never be able to properly satisfy her for several reasons. Essentially, I fantasize about her cuckolding me with a stronger and better man and me becoming the submissive third in that relationship sexually. And, due to various online influences, and some things in her past, I lean toward that better man being black. The primary thing though is her personal pleasure. I would be and do anything for her to get the sexual fulfillment she needs. I love the idea of being a man's first sexual encounter, but that is getting harder to find amongst my peers. Even when guys are virgins, a lot of them won't admit to it because they feel it makes them look bad, which would take the fun out of it for me. I would want a guy to be open, even if he's shy about it. Public sex is fun, done quite a lot of that. I would just like a threesome with 2 girls. There've been a lot of promises and talk but never got there. So, would be cool to get that off my fuck it list. Getting finger fucked publicly in a dark club. Getting absolutely rocked in bed with a blindfold on by a stranger. Being the focus of an orgy. I want to watch a guy jacking off when he thinks he is completely alone and in total privacy. It's not possible because watching a guy jacking off would have to be set up somehow, and then it wouldn't be watching a guy let off some steam when he thinks he's alone. It would be guy allows me to watch him jack off. I've had many suggestions like accidentally leaving the webcam on, but it's all setups. I have the desire of a voyeur but would never openly spy on anyone unknowingly, but I have dreamed of walking down a side, seeing someone I talked with a period of time online sucking a guy's dick, watching him leave the room. His figure wasn't detailed, because she was the focus, and her stay in the room. I continued to watch her through her house's big picture window. Eventually I open the door and she's naked but doesn't wish me away. He's no longer there and I proceed to take up where he left off. I think the fantasy of that is the idea that I could stumble on a woman at some point. She's horny and so yearning for pleasure that I'm as good a candidate for her body as anyone, and sex is the result. A lot of shit. Sometimes very, very dark shit. That's the reason I can't carry it out, because it's dark shit and I'm not in the body I fantasize about being in. But if it's not dark shit, it's still weird shit. I always fantasize about being the girl version of myself. But I'm a lesbian. I like lesbians so much. Since I was little, like maybe 8 to 9, I always fantasized about girl-on-girl action before I even knew what a lesbian was. And I always fantasized about being one of the girls. Now I just fantasize, like I said, about being the lesbian version of myself. Sometimes I think about having girls with dicks plow the shit out of me. And sometimes I am the girl with the dick. And sometimes I'm just a regular girl fucking a regular girl. The dark shit I'd never carry out, even though it's one of my fantasies, is of holding a teacher I had back in high school that I thought was hot and torturing her sexually. I honestly have no idea why I think about that. I actually had no problem with her whatsoever. She was a very nice lady. Even if I got the chance to carry that out, I wouldn't. For a slew of obvious reasons. Mine would probably be a mix between a gangbang and swinging. I'm not sure what you'd call it, but I'd like to get with another couple, along with my boyfriend, and just all have group sex. But I know he'd never go for that, and I'm not about to go behind him for something he's not willing to do. I want to be fucked to death. Not like by having my insides torn apart by some monstrosity, but I want to come so hard it literally kills me. Not a heart attack by strenuous activity, just, like, my body being like, alright, fuck, we can't top this ever, time to go. I pass out from satisfied, extraneous exhaustion, then slip away in the lingering contractions and euphoria. But I'm not suicidal, I'm just comfortable with death and intrigued by the intimacy of it. Also, not sure it's possible, and seeking it out would ruin it. It's got to just happen, you know? Also seems a better way to go than plenty of others. Okay, always is saying far too much. A few times a year it pops into my head, sometimes I use it in my self-love sessions, and then it makes me feel all jimmy jammy, and that is wonderful. I talk about cock. Just cock, no guy attached, though with a dash of top/bottom dynamics going on. Hey, it's my fantasy, it doesn't have to be realistic. I'm a very heterosexual, very happily married guy, and I don't find men attractive at all, so it won't ever happen. Nor do I want to make it real. The thought of flirting with a guy, kissing a hairy face. Ew. The male physique is utterly uninteresting. No, just no. Yet. Sometimes, the thought of taking a good large firm dick up my ass, or giving good head to one and swallowing it all, it makes me one very happy hetero. Some fantasies are at their very best when they reside only in the realm of dreams. I really love women and have had oral with a few, but I've always wanted a stupid hot blonde chick I can have a natural attraction to, who has an immaculate pussy that's perfectly shaved, and have one-on-one girl-on-girl instead of two girls and a man. I'm coming to learn, I can usually do without the male presence because females with clean and shaved vaginas are literally my thing now. If we're sticking in the realms of feasibility, then going to a bathhouse, one where everyone is just open, comfortable, and clean, just making out, topping, bottoming, eating ass and shamelessly exploring each other. Guys, gals, cis, trans, just having all the fun under big rainbow lights. Being taken advantage of, held down, tied up, then fucked, and reluctantly enjoying it. But I would think if a stranger ever did that to me in real life, it would be traumatic. I won't say never, but it feels unlikely in the current environment with COVID lockdowns and all. I would like to submit to a couple, with my wife involved too. Not as a one-off, but where we get to know one another and understand each other's fantasies. Women in charge, with some playful humiliation and forced bisexuality in particular, where I am teased about how much I want it. Teasing and denying my orgasm would be part of it too. I've done plenty of threesomes, that's not the fantasy part. It's the woman in charge, my wife watching, and interacting with the guy that is the fantasy part. This is not an invitation for horny dudes to flood my inbox. I said couple. My biggest kink is guro/gore, being on the receiving end. I want to be completely obliterated and torn to pieces, like just have my ribcage split open from the front and let my partner finger my heart/lungs. My partner's really into vor and vampire/biting, being the predator. We try our best lol, but our two biggest kinks are fatal, so we mostly just roleplay or scratch/cut/hit/bite. Mine are actually pretty much the same. Less so the public stuff, because I think that's actually well within the realm of possibility if you're careful. But I would absolutely love to go to a glory hole. I am, however, a straight man, and the odds of a single woman being in such a place for the purpose of sucking anonymous cock is not absolutely zero, but it's pretty close to it. No interest in getting sucked by a dude, and it's virtually always a dude on the other side of the wall, as I understand it. I've, 40+ male, been around in my life. In my 20s I was in a very active poly community. Always dated all type ladies. Now that I'm older, me and the wife during non-COVID times tend to hang around places where swingers get together. So, I've accomplished many my fantasies. On my list of fantasies that I'll probably not do is bring my lady in for a gangbang or cuckolding. Hot in a story, not so much a real experience that I want to have. My wife would like to be in a threesome with two butchy type ladies. That is because we really don't run in circles with folks like that, etc. etc. Thanks for listening to Reddit Rundown. Give a thumbs up and subscribe, and help me get to 1,000 subs. Leave a comment below on what kind of topics or stories you would like to hear. You can also check out other videos on my channel. Thanks and have an awesome day.